Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome to episode 40 of Bengals on the Brain. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry. The show is brought to you by First Star Logistics. And if you didn't catch the content all last week, First Star flew me and my brother and everyone else from the First Star team, Malik Wright, Daniel Almeida, and Evan McPhillips down to Melbourne, Florida, where First Star has a beach house. They put us up. They fed us, kept us happy, kept us, entertained the whole time. But we produced a lot of content. So if you haven't seen on the First Star YouTube page here, there's a lot of live streams from the Saturday college playoff games, from Sunday games. We did some shortcuts and analysis and a lot of videos breaking down the Jaguars game. And then we went to Jacksonville. We had sideline passes, got to get down on the field, meet some of the players and coaches, and have a few conversations, create some awesome content down there. Just got to say thank you to those guys. I mean, First Star, every time they do anything for me, it's big, it's first class. And I've never been treated like this as a content creator. I've been making content for 14 years now. You don't get this type of support, and it's awesome. It really helps me be the best I can be. But we have a giveaway also. First Star. If you haven't checked it out, this is just earlier today when I'm recording. So yesterday when you see this, but starter jackets and a custom jersey, Bengals jersey. They're giving away these to two different people. So two winners. You want to get in on this one. This is a good one. So we're going to go back to the film. We're going to go back to the Jags game, the Monday night victory. Not going to focus on Jake Browning. A lot of people have already. The national analysts will focus on Browning, which is why I'm not going to. If he continues to play well, we're going to have to. I didn't focus on him when he played poorly versus the Steelers. I'm not going to focus on him this week when he played well against the Jags because I'm still looking at some of these young guys that are playing well, and I think they're more of a story for us. We can get more unique content this way. If you're looking for a Jake Browning breakdown that's the best on the internet, look up JT O'Sullivan's quarterback school. Yeah, the former backup quarterback for the Bengals for a little bit, JT O'Sullivan. Look it up on YouTube. He does a great job. So I'm not gonna compete with that. We're going to focus on three offensive players. Last week we did three young defensive players that really have stepped up and grabbed their role for this team. I think on offense we've got a similar situation. Finally, getting some Chase Brown, and man, did he look good, but we'll get to the film on that. Cordell Volson, back-to-back weeks on Cordell Volson. We're going to feature him. He is starting to play pretty well to the point where maybe we don't need a left guard. We'll have to, we have 5 more games to go here. Let's see if he can continue this upward trend. If he can, he may secure a spot for 2024. And then a guy that was a second-round bust that they brought back in the offseason at a position where they don't have a lot of talent and they're struggling, but they have found a rotation that works. But they found a role for Drew Sample that works, where he can help this team and he can make plays and maybe be a bit of an unsung hero on this team. We're going to look at Drew Sample a whole bunch today. Let's dive in. Eyes on Cordell Volson as we start this tape and look at this defender coming in, and they're going to switcheroo here. If you see what I'm saying, they're going to, real quick, as he's looking at, all right, which 5 guys could potentially be coming here. It looked like 33. I think that's Devin Lloyd was going to come in. And instead, they walked the nickel in to replace him and walked the linebacker out to replace the nickel. So just a little switcheroo there that I appreciate here because Volson's got to see this very quickly because here comes the snap. And, it just changes who you're going to block after the snap. So as you see, wham. I mean, you've got a lot of size on a nickel corner there. And he absolutely demolishes 37 to get him out of the hole. 37's got something to say, but I don't know what you're going to say to the guy that's that much bigger than you are. 3 guys here I want to focus on. Actually 4 because we're going to get to Chase Brown. This is his first carry, so it's pretty exciting. But Orlando Brown and Cordell Volson on the left side and Drew Sample on the right, obviously. And we're going to get a run to the right. And what we're looking at here is Both the guys on the left, what I really like for Volson and Brown is they've got to get reach blocks here. So they've got to get out in front and get to these guys. These aren't easy blocks. These are tough. And to really appreciate it, I think we have to slow it down and watch them in slow motion. So keep your eyes there first for me and watch these guys get off the snap, get out in front, turn their hips, and wall those guys off. Now, eyes to the right now. And I think Tyler Boyd right here had one of the worst days wide receiver blocking that I've ever seen, especially to start the game. He has a really nice block on Joe Mixon's one of his touchdowns. I think it was the second one. No, it might have been the first one. But before that, just absolutely dreadful effort. It kind of was capped off with that interception that he threw. But it was just like, wow, he's having an off day. I'm not going to harp on Boyd too much because he's made a lot of good blocks in his career, but he just had a bad day. I thought this run could have went for more had that block have succeeded. I thought Sample did his job on the right, the guys on the left did their job. And here's Drew Sample in his new role here in the backfield next to Jake Browning as a third down back, and he's been doing this for the majority of the season. So when I say new role, it's just this year type thing where they're like, hey, we lost some IJP Ryan. We need a guy to do it. And it's been Drew Sample. So quick eyes on Cordell Volson. You see him get knocked off balance with that power, Roy Robertson Harris. And Drew Sample's over here. Yeah, you see that power right there on Volson. But what I want you to see on Drew Sample's side is just how much he has to read the field. He's checking first, is any blitzer coming from any weird direction? Is he coming from the middle, coming from the right? Are they coming from the left? Is there anyone coming? If not, lay a shoulder into somebody, help out your guards, give a little bit more of a pocket to your quarterback. Next play here, eyes on Cordell Volson on the left side. We're going to focus on him a lot, but he's going to almost trap block and then want to set the edge. He ends up falling here. Can't let your feet stop moving. And on the right side, if you want to focus on Drew Sample for me, they're going to release these guys. So again, it's like a trap block. So these guys, he's going to go up and he's going to go up and you're going to get the second level guys and Sample is going to get the defensive tackle there. So you're going to leave the D tackle blocked. The linemen are going to go up and get the second level players and Sample's going to take the D tackles. Here we go. I was wrong on which one it was. I'm sorry. The Kappa came down. It was Karras and Williams that go and get the next guys. And also, actually, while we're sitting here, all four of them, good blocks. Especially, I'm highlighting, circling Orlando Brown Jr. here. For Orlando Brown Jr. to get all the way over, get in front of this linebacker and wall him off. Good block there, sir. Good job for the big man on the left side, number 75. You got a good lane here. And it's not going to be a big gain, but if you can get 7 yards out of this, which I think this is what Chase Brown gets, we will take that every single time. Get the maximum amount of yards that's available. Put your head down, grind for a few more, and we'll take it. Watch Sample. Look at his eyes here. You see how he's doing a full field read all the way right to left, back to right, and then help chip the end to give Jonah Williams some help. And this play ends up being a sack, but that's more on Browning, not just seeing the field correctly. It's, again, not our focus of today. This is one of the big plays. Screen pass to Joe Mixon. And they did a lot of this. But the Bengals did a great job running screens, RPOs, boots, things to make it easy on the offensive line, make it easy on the quarterback. Let's watch Volson. We talked about athleticism. Oh, well, you need some power on these screens too, because you got to disrupt that guy. Disrupt that linebacker and then climb to the second level. You see Volson here. This is where we want the athletes. Can you get to him? Oh, nope, you can't. Karras grabs him. Find the next guy. You need that awareness as well. Can you get to the next guy? He does enough here to allow Mixon to run kind of up his back. That was actually kind of weird, but we'll take that. We're going to focus on screens a lot today because the Bengals ran a lot of them, and we're talking a lot about offensive lineman athleticism. So can they get to these blocks? If you want to run more screens, you want to help your quarterback out with some easy yak plays, you got to have the athletes up front to pull it off successfully. So we got the three main focuses here in Sample, Volson, and Chase Brown all in one play. So we're going to try and take our turns there, watching Drew Sample on the left side first. I don't know if you caught that or not, but he kind of misses his block. He's got to go inside. So he has to go inside because he's got to wall this off because the run's going to the right. So that's why he ends up missing there. It is what it is. It's on the backside. As long as you don't allow him to cross your face and completely blow up the play, you are fine. We're not going to kill him for that. Eyes on Volson for the next highlight here. He's going to blow up. I shouldn't actually say blow up. He's going to push that guy inside, and then he's going to climb to the second level. So his idea here is to pass him off to Orlando Brown. Boom, there you go. Now get the second level defender. Can you do it? He does a good enough job here. That's you slow down number 2, who's a safety, and not allow him to get all the way across to catch Chase Brown. Great. We've got a counter play here. They would call it a wind back. We're going to go left and then go all the way right. You got one-on-one with an unblocked defender. We need you to make him miss. Chase Brown, we need you to make that guy miss, and he does. We get a big run early in the game. Chase Brown, let's go. That's what you need him for. That's what he's there for. Drew Sample, let's see him protect here as we're trying to hit this wide receiver throwback play. It does not work, but Drew Sample doing a good job of staying in front of the defender and getting his block. Again, I just want to highlight the blocks that maybe you don't see all the time. We got a pitch out here. Sample on the edge. He's got a block and take care of that end while Orlando Brown Jr. climbs up. And now when you get here with Chase Brown, like you could either one of two things, right? Because you got an unblocked guy here. So you could just like put it down, put your head down and try and just run through it as best as possible. He ends up stemming this up further and then cutting back to see if he can cut back against the grain. Because if you can just make this guy miss and you can get this guy to over pursue right here, I mean, I get what he's looking at. So let's watch it play out and you'll see if you agree with the decision or not. I at least like how long he stems that and how long he presses the hole to the left before cutting back, which is something we'll see on a play later. I think he does that really well. He did it well at Illinois as well. This play ends up going for nothing. We take it out to the right as there's really nothing inside. Watch Tanner Hudson. This is not going to be great for Tanner Hudson. Keep your eyes on him. I'm going to go back a click here. Keep your eyes on Tanner Hudson here, 87 on the right side. And just because he only has 15 run block snaps this year, Bengals clearly don't trust him there. They don't use him there. If you're wondering why he's not on the field more, this may be why. He does not know what to do here. You got to do something. Rather you block anyone at 100 miles an hour than block nobody at 0 miles an hour. Eyes back on Drew Sample here. He's going to come all the way across, block the end, hold him up, and allow the quarterback to get this ball off. It's dropped, but good job by Sample. I mean, when you can ask him to block ends and he can do it, this is Clavon Chason, I believe, 45. And he's holding them up it's an RPO situation. So the defensive end's reading run first. Let me pause this here before we get too far. He's reading run first. So it's an easier pass block, but he still does it. He still holds his own and allows the quarterback to get that ball off. So good job, Drew Sample, blocking the D end. Cordell Volson and Karras. And then you get Tyler Boyd with that nice block. Man, if we can get run blocks like this all the time, we can get Joe Mixon at 100 miles an hour through the hole, that's when he'd be good. That's when Joe Mixon would be powered, like punishing a runner, man. Get him to 100 miles an hour. This is my favorite Jake Browning play of the entire day. And I kept this one in. I don't think we got to focus on Volson, Sample, or Chase Brown here. I just love when a quarterback can make a quick reaction, process extremely quickly. And I thought this play showed it the best. And you see you've got an unblocked defender, and watch where's Browning's eyes because he's coming off the play action, right? His eyes are towards the back end zone. He barely can see as he's turning around. There's a lot of trust here. When you're doing a naked boot or rolling out away, there's a lot of trust that there's not going to be a defender there. And watch how he turns, and the defender's going to be right in his face, and he flips backwards. Like, how quickly do you have to react there? As soon as he flips, his eyes see the defender, and he's like, okay, I got to push off this foot, switch my feet around, gain depth away from that defender, and get this ball off. And he does it in like a split second. He gets the ball out over the defender to Mitchell Wilcox. This is a great, and takes a hit. This is a great play. I mean, the processing there for him, he's firing on all cylinders. If you can do that right there, to me, it's not even a far throw or anything. To me, that's like, oh, like he's not completely swimming. He's not drowning out there. He's able to keep his head above water. He knows what's going on around him, which is nice. We get a couple duo blocks from the center, left guard, right tackle, and we absolutely blow open this hole here on, I believe it's 3rd and short. Ideally, I mean, these are the plays that get busted off for long runs. If you're wondering, this is an under center run. right? We talk a lot about shotgun under center. You get both linebackers to go like this and go out first, and then they're going to come back and they're going to close this hole because we're not really fast enough to the hole. Uh, man, these are one-on-ones with a safety in the middle of the field. Should be, at least. These are the plays that, and we're not, I don't want to focus on Joe Mixon right now, but it's just the comparison between Mixon and Chase Brown, because we're going to see later, Brown just is shot out of a cannon when he gets the ball. But these are supposed to be one-on-one with a safety. Maybe you make a miss and take off, right? Ideally, that's how you break off these long runs on short yardage situations. The two linebackers are able to collapse and take his feet out. I even think he's probably upset on this one. Let's focus on Orlando Brown and Cordell Volson here. This is the Bengals' probably favorite run formation of the night. Volson drives his guy inside. Orlando Brown throwing his guy to the ground. Orlando Brown had a physical. He was on something that night. He was really feeling it. He pancakes quite a few guys in this game. Olsen with the pass protection. I love this rep because number one, it's almost like he does kind of lose here. Like, if you don't want to instantly give up that inside pressure right there on that phase one of your pass rep where you're leaning too far, your hands get knocked down. Like, he lost phase one. Can you regain in phase two and win in phase three? So phase two is the recovery, which he does. Phase three is drive the guy through and outside and away from the pocket and finish the play. And he does. So you can lose the initial battle as long as you're athletic, strong enough, long enough, aware enough, smart enough, all of the things that make you a good football player. To win phase two and phase three, you can recover and stave off a bad play for your offense. So good job by Cordell Volson recovering there. Eyes on Drew Sample on the right side. He's going to let the DN go, pick up the next level defender, create a little wall to allow Tyler Boyd to pick up a decent chunk. And we're going back to Chase Brown at running back. Well, Chase Brown, the only pass protection play he got, looks like he would have picked up his man. Nothing crazy there, but it's the only play we got, so I wanted to highlight it. We got Sugar in the A-gap. Meaning we got two guys in the A-gap here. Let me go back to it real quick. I wanted to pause it while they were highlighted. When you hear me say Sugar in the A-gap or hear any analyst, what the defense is trying to do is they got four rushers, right? 2, 3, 4 in this sense. We got to keep an eye on number two. But you bring up your two middle linebackers into the middle, and it forces you to say, okay, they could potentially bring 6 rushers. And I've got 7 blockers. So if we're counting this guy as number 7 and even number 5, you got to be aware of these guys. But you've got 7 blockers. You have to decide how you want to do it. How are we going to block all these guys? We don't need the miscommunications, right? So what they do is they bring Sample up. They talk about what they're going to do. They bring over Travion Williams, because then you'll see here as I'll pause it as the pass rush starts coming. They're gonna slide the O-line to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All go to the right to hopefully pick up this number 2 guy. This was a play where I was during the game. I'm like, oh, 2 is blitzing. They're leaving an easy throw to T. Higgins, and then 2 goes out underneath, and the safety goes over top. They bracketed Higgins right away. So it was a good job by Browning to see that they were trying to bait him to throw it right into their face. So they slide the O-line right, and you have your 2 extra blockers from the backfield go to the left. So your numbers now can pick everything up, and they do here. So Browning's allowed to get this throw off completed. It's a tremendous route. I didn't highlight it. I should have clipped that play. But the route by Boyd there was A+. Maybe I'll put that up on Twitter later. Eyes back on Volson. See, I love this. This is some power running, man. Look at Volson move that guy. Watch him. This guy's going to dip in front of his face right at the snap, right? So now I got to get him out of there. And man, lifting him up under his shoulder, under his armpit, get him out of there. Oh, physical run. Let's give a little something to Drew Sample since we've been asking him to block all day. Here's a pass for you, buddy. Little boot action rollout, and you've got 3 levels for Jake Browning, half the field, only to read. You got 3 levels here. Basically, you've got a short guy, an intermediate guy, and then you're going to have a deep guy, right? So you can see how the defense is playing, pick your poison, and go for it. And he lays this. He feathers this ball over there. What touch. That's some touch and accuracy. Good job. Eyes back on Volson. Let's get some power running here. Let's finish this play. You two get your guy out of there. I think we got to mess up here. I think if we hit this right up the bat, it's a touchdown. Instead, we kind of overshoot our gap or overshoot our lane as the running back and then try to hit it. Ends up being a decent gain. We get into the goal line situation and then punch it in from there on the very next play. Good job there by Mixon. And that is a touchdown. Bengals are rolling on the ground early in this one. And we're going to trap block with Volson. Tight window there. Tight hole for Mixon. Good job getting through that, getting skinny. You'll hear analysts say getting skinny through the hole because you don't have much right here. I mean, this is a tight hole between the center and the left guard, who's now on the right side. Get through it. Pick up your 4-5. Good job, Joe Mixon. Halfway through now, we got Cordell Volson going to help Karras with the nose tackle, and he's got to climb up to the linebacker and get number 33. We want to see how these guys get to the second level. It's a big issue with the run game. And I think I would say here, good job. Good job by Volson. Because, again, I think this run is aimed to go outside. And with the way he's winning here, and this is the same run we saw against the Steelers, where Irv Smith came up and didn't know who to block, right? And then it ended up mixing one-on-one with that defender here. In this case, we do have Sample getting to that tight end. But, I think at best we're running here, and our footwork is just we've got our feet are overextended. As you see, his Mixon's footwork is very long. His steps are very long. So it's hard for him to adjust quickly. And that's how it's a lot of times he ends up overrunning probably the most optimum run he could have. Big touchdown here, right? This was 3rd and short. We were still having concerns at this point. You make a big play to Jamar Chase. Let's focus on Cordell Volson first. No. We're going to a sample first. Sample first here. And again, he's in the backfield. We got to pick up the blitz. Look at both linebackers look like they're coming. Which one's coming? Boom, got him. Good job, Drew Sample. Good job. Of course, we know Jamar Chase is good, but now eyes on Volson. Volson's going to give up a hit here. Gets beat to the outside. Look at Jake Browning make that throw while a defender's bearing down into his face. Now the longest run of the year. Oh, Chase Brown. Oh, some speed. Oh, that can get me excited for the rest of the year there. That's enough for the rest of the season. We got a long, same type of play too. It's the wind back run, counter run. Eyes on Volson. Let's see if he can do, what does he do here? Tries to get to 33, can't do it. Does enough to steal him off at the end. Yeah. I'd like that to look cleaner and better, but he kind of gets it done there. Drew Sample on the right side. Can he block this end just long enough to let Chase Brown finish his fake to the right and then cut back all the way to the left? You're trying to get these linebackers to move and then cut. We got 2 second level blocks there by Alec Kappa and just enough out of Cordell Volson because the linebackers didn't get confused by the run here. Watch him. Watch 23 right away knows it's going to the right. I'm reading the run. It's going to the right. Take on your second level blocker, get him to the ground, but you trip over him trying to make a play. The running back is too fast. And you knew what was coming. You couldn't even make a stop. Kind of feel for the guy there when he knows what's happening, but yet you still can't stop it. You need some of those for the Bengals offense. These young guys making some fun plays here. Chase Brown. We got Chase Brown up the middle here. You see the gap. He's going to end up with like a 4-yard gain here. But what I wanted to show is, and why I slowed it down, was you end up in a scenario here, and this is some of the issues I have with Mixon. So he's locking him out. You don't want to run outside. We had this with the Irv Smith penalty, the holding call versus the Steelers, where basically Mixon gets this and he goes, I don't like these because this guy's coming right through because this guy's head's right here, and I'm just going to bounce it outside. And when you bounce it outside, we get a holding call here because nobody expects to go out there, and you've got leverage here. This guy's on this side. This guy's on this side. This guy's on this side. So if you're reading this, if it's his own run, you're like, okay, I've got to cut back. But if you just directly cut it back here, this guy's on this side. So like, it's not a great blocked play here. The defense is doing a good job. But how do we still get 4 yards out of it? You do that by, as you're approaching this angle here, and you want to cut back. If you just do it right now, everyone else is going to slide with it. All these defenders are going to slide over with it, and I mean, you might get something out of it. We see it happen, but overall, you want to delay it as long as possible. When I talk about pressing the hole, if I want to hit between these two blockers right here, I need to string this as far up here as I can, allow these blockers to get over just a little bit, and then cut through them. If I just do it now, everyone's going to crash in, the run's going to end right here. So watch how he's going to string this and get as close to this unblocked guy as he can before he cuts between those two blockers. And that's how you get the maximum yardage out of it. So, like, this is a small run, but it's definitely what you need back there. Wilson and Karras, look at how they torque this guy out of there, man. Get out of there. You're out of the club. You're off your feet. Finish him, Wilson. And, like, I think this goes for 2 yards for Joe Mixon. Let's look at it in slow motion because I wasn't going to go in this direction, so I'm not 100% sure. But let's see what the blocking looks like on the front side for Mixon. So he's following Jonah, and Jonah's going to take number 23, and we're going to go outside. So watch his footwork. Watch Mixon's footwork, how far his steps go. You can't really cut when you're that far off balance and your steps are so wide. There wasn't much there. He ran into 3 guys that were open or that were unblocked. Woo. Woo, Volson. Woo. So this may be the other play that Volson lost on the day, which he's having a good game. But we got some play action here. Roy Robertson Harris jump inside with the arm over. And we're going to have, luckily, a play action boot to the other side where Jamar Chase is going to get the first down when the Bengals absolutely needed to sustain a drive. So something to note, I want to highlight this real quick. They kept doing this. They kept putting a tight end on the side and then bringing up either Trent Irwin or T. Higgins. T. Higgins a lot in the goal line too. And so you've got these 2 extra blockers here. One would say, all right, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. Maybe I'm going to climb up and get him. Doesn't matter. They did a lot of different things out of it, but they kept showing the same thing. And now this is in shotgun. You can run power out of this. You've got extra blockers on the right side, and you're going to run some power out of shotgun. And instead here, they're going to play action and then hit the screen. Let's get eyes on Volson. Can he get up and get the block on number 23? We'll take that. That's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. There's another Chase Brown run that went for nothing, and I think Browning wanted to RPO this and just flip it out to Andre Yosivas. You see his head there. He goes, oh, no. What did I do? Oh, I missed it. Or did Chase Brown just rip this from him? You kind of see them bump into each other, and Chase grabs it. When you're running RPOs and stuff, you've kind of got to be soft, and then you take it, or the quarterback's really got to yank it out of there and get it away from them. There's a little bit of practice to it because there's no way that run was going to work ever. So I think he wanted the RPO. Browning did. I like this because you know how often they quick throw, bang, get to the back foot, 3-step, bump, 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 right? We know that. That's a lot of the Bengals offense. The defenses know it too. So watch how they all react here. He hits his back foot. He's turned to the right. Watch all the defenders now. Whoop. And then you go over the middle to Tyler Boyd. So, like, you've got to break your own tendencies with a new quarterback. Eyes on Volson real quick on pass protection here because I really like this play. He's going to go out, lock, turn his hips, regain his balance, use his power. Nice little touch throw here to Tyler Boyd. Talk about a catchable ball. Those are catchable balls. What does that mean? Doesn't everyone throw a catchable ball? No, someone like Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and get a lot of dropped passes because of how much velocity and how much torque and spin comes off those passes. How many rotations are on that ball? Sometimes makes it hard to throw. You don't want you don't want like no rotations on it because those rotations actually help grip and stick to the gloves and stick to your hands. But you want like a good mix of touch, accuracy, velocity without being overbearing for the receiver. Now, the last play was just goal line sneak. I just put it in there to show that they did capitalize on that drive and get a touchdown. Drew Sample here. He's looking back like, hey, you want to throw it to me? Nope. All right, I'll come help you block. It just awareness on a Sample. Look back one more time. All right, yeah, he is running. Let me go up and get this linebacker just enough to let Jake Browning, Jake the Snake, Jake Feisty pick up the first down. Eyes back on Wilson. We're running it up the middle. He and Karras, they're going to double this nose tackle. Hey, sometimes, or this D tackle, yeah, he's in the nose position. I'm okay saying that. A lot of times it's just follow your two guys and pick up five, there's nothing crazy to it. Here they are. It's running power. Let's get behind them. Someone's going to be unblocked. I know that. I'm just going to put my head down and grind this out as best as I can. The last 2 weeks, I feel like the stunts and the focus for the defense has been to isolate Jonah Williams and get Jonah and Kappa to make the most mistakes. Uh, they got away from defenses for the middle of the year where, like, let's isolate Cordell Volson and get him to make mistakes and run games and stunts and twists and show different looks on that side. They've gone back to Jonah's side the last 2 weeks. But here we get one. We get a stunt, and man, Volson passes this off well. This is exactly what it's supposed to look like. 95 is going to try to create the internal pressure while the DN loops around back inside. And watch Volson. So you want to extend, push off, give them to your other guy, regain your body in position, get your hands back underneath for the guy that's looping around. That's A plus out of Cordell Volson. Good job, buddy. Got a trap block here. This is a draw play. This is the one right before. They almost could have won this in regulation. If you remember, they got the ball and they're like, let's run a draw right away and call a timeout. This draw picks up big yardage because no one's down here. I mean, they've got four defensive line. Oh, yeah, that's four defensive linemen. But there's no linebackers here. They're all bailing out, expecting a pass. But watch what they do with Volson, how he comes over, takes the opposite side defensive tackle. Bang. And Joe Mixon picks up a big chunk. We got chunk runs in this game. Who would have guessed that? Not me. Left tackle, left guard. It's a combo block on this guy here. Just drive him out of there. Joe Mixon's going to bounce it all the way outside. Was there room inside? They've run this a couple times. I wonder if he's actually reading outside right away because the way even Browning's eyes are this way, it looks like Mixon's eyes are this way. Are you just reading the end and saying, let me just hit it outside? Because they've hit long runs on this before. This is something that they have run. So I wonder if that's what that is right here. And then T. Higgins is supposed to come in and clear out that unblocked defender. But the only problem is there's another one here this time. They've hit off long runs on this before. Versus the Colts, John Ross had a nice block on the outside edge in 2019. Same play. Screen. I love this. Why? Because we've got a blitz coming in, right? We've got the linebacker showing blitz, sugar in the A gap, right? We've done this. Here they come. Let them right in. All right, Volson, get a hand on that guy. You'd like Volson to be able to get that there. Moving on to the next play. Just get a little hand out there, right? Volson, just and then climb up. Just a little bit more. I mean, they're not a good screen team. They don't run a lot of screens in that way they do for the wide receivers. So it's different blocking, different ask. I want to keep your eyes on Drew Sample, and we'll get to Orlando Brown on this play as well. But Sample, watch him first. This guy's going to give him a little hezzy step, and then he's going to try and beat him to the inside. Now, I want to pause it at the right spot if we possibly can here. Let me go back just quickly because there'll be Jags fans that'll say, isn't this a hold? And we've gone over this a few times, right? How a rip move isn't a hold. And I don't think so there. So see how he makes a miss and then comes with the rip? So Sample is aiming shoulder to shoulder, and then you go sideways and end up with a rip. They're not going to call holding here, but they will now if, this is important, if he's got a direct path to the quarterback and Sample stays in this position where he is almost behind this arm here, behind the shoulder, behind the head. If he stays back there too long, they will throw the flag on this play. They will, because you're being beaten at this point. And Sample's job is to get his body positioning back between 33 and the quarterback. So let's watch it. And he does. You see that? Watch how he gets back inside of him. So as the defender tries to knock his arm down, Sample gets his head back across here. Look at it. See how his head got back across in the front. And now he's got to flip his hips and get in front of the defender to finish this off and keep it from being a hold. What a good job. That is tremendous. That's how you keep it from being a hold. And this is a big play. The Bengals needed this conversion to T. Higgins to get them in position to win the game. And I said I wanted to watch Orlando Brown here. Get your eyes on Orlando Brown. He's going to get a nice little pancake block here. Yeah. Man, he was physical. It's nice when you're that much bigger and faster and stronger. Faster. Maybe that's not the right word. When you're bigger, stronger than everyone else. That is nice. Here we go again. Same running, right? They're bringing this guy in. We got an extra offensive lineman. We got a tight end over there. Eyes on Volson, and oh, what happened? What happened? Let's watch that again. Volson, watch this. Some confusion. The Bengals just need a few yards here to get a field goal out of this. Nobody blocks anyone. All right. Watch 41 here. Bengals are not Sample, not Wilcox, not Kappa, and now he's wide open. He's free to make the tackle on Joe Mixon. So again, 2 plays in a row here. We need to run the ball. We need a few yards. We're trying to end this game and kick a field goal in overtime, and we can't get the run blocking correct. So we get to the final play now. We need some blocking. Come on, boys. Let's go. Get to the second level. Climb to the second level. Can they do it? They can. And cut up. Good job, Mixon. This is the same play as earlier. Remember when I said Mixon takes this and ends up his footwork are too, each step is too long. Like one step is here, the next step's here, then the next step's here. And you really can't cut when you have such long steps. If you think of a guy like Marshawn Lynch, someone I always thought of, he always had short, choppy steps, and it made him very hard to get a hand on him because he could cut so acutely. Every time he took a step could be a cut. Mixons are so elongated right now that it's hard for him to make these cuts. So I showed that play earlier because I wanted to come back to it now. And I'll show you that this is when he can make the cut. So we got to get to the second level here. I'm talking about Sample getting on this guy, Olsen getting on this guy. They're both going to seal him off this way. So the cut for Mixon ideally would be get up here, get between these two, and then cut this way. Okay, but these are sharp angles. He's in the shotgun here, and he's going to have to come this way and then that way. That's tough. I get it. It's very tough. But we just need a few yards. So I'm not telling you to break it all the way for the end zone here. So look at the jump to get between them. Again, that makes it harder to cut now because you got to jump between these guys. I mean, Kappa's knees are touching the ground here almost. He's doing everything he can to make sure he gets this sealed off. Mixon hits the ground and makes a cut. Best he can do. Give you a couple yards. Now you're inside the 30. Let's kick the field goal and win the game. And just like that, the Bengals are 6-6. And man, getting in such an incredibly efficient game out of your backup quarterback like that. Hats off to the coaching staff, to the game planning, to the play calling. Tremendous job. One of their best complete games that I think the staff has ever had. So how often can they put this together? How often can the offense look like this? That'll be key in their playoff hopes. But they're 6-6. There's a chance 4 of their 5 final games are going against other backup quarterbacks. So you don't even need Jake Browning to complete 86% of his passes. You just need him to be solid. And if you can get that, they've got a chance to win these games. Against the Vikings, against the Colts this week, against the Browns, against the Steelers. We'll see if Kenny Pickett's back for that or not. I don't think so, but even Mitch Trubisky, you could beat these teams. So that's where we're at now. How often can we get this type of performance? How often can we get this type of play calling? Can you rely on your weapons to carry you? And if they can, they may sneak into the playoffs. And it's not that crazy to think, even if it's at like 9-8, they can get in there. I did a few simulators. Half of the time at 9-8, they can get into it. 10-7, they pretty much get a spot. So can they go? And maybe the only loss is to the Chiefs, and you run the table on these other backup teams because your quality of roster is better. That could happen. Still, this was a 3-point game that needed their backup quarterback to be in the game at the end as well. So the defense could have played better. We didn't talk about the defense. They could have recovered any of those 3 fumbles. They got their hands on 2 balls, especially the Dax Hill one should have been picked off, and that turned into a direct touchdown. So the game could have been a larger victory, and the margin could have been larger. We'll see if they can carry this over. Was that just typical Bengals rising to the occasion of prime time? The Zach Taylor Bengals playing against a playoff team in prime time in their white Tiger uniforms, getting up and playing at their very best. They've done that. That's kind of been their MO. Let's see them in these 1:00 games and see if they can continue. This is Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry. And if you like the episode, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow us on Twitter and everywhere that you get your Bengals news. We'll see you again on Tuesday for the next episode of Bengals on the Brain. Uday.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.